It was supposed to be a celebration. The gala was lavish, glass chandeliers, a string quartet in the corner, and guests so rich they wore timepieces more expensive than my car. My name was on the guest list for one reason. I'd just led our team to land one of the biggest tech contracts in the industry. People were calling it a career-making deal. For me, it was. At least, it should have been. I stood near the bar, sipping a cocktail I couldn't pronounce, my tuxedo tight around the collar, but my spirit lighter than air. I was proud, not just of what I had done, but of where I had come from. Just 2 years ago, I was broke, rejected, and struggling to keep my head up. And now, here I was, surrounded by billionaires, investors, and the upper echelon of Silicon Valley. And then it happened. My phone buzzed. A short, cold message appeared on the screen. "We no longer require your services. Effective immediately. HR will follow up Monday. Best, Philip." Philip, my boss, my mentor, the man I had once admired. At first, I thought it was a mistake, a prank maybe, but as I stood there frozen, the realization hit me like a punch to the gut. I'd just been fired, by text, at a black tie gala with 100 high-profile guests around me. The music continued, glasses clinked. No one noticed as I stood perfectly still, staring at that message while the world moved on. I felt the heat rise in my chest. My face burned. My legs wanted to run. My hands tightened around the phone like I could squeeze the truth out of it. But then something shifted. Across the room, a man was watching me. Not just watching, grinning. His name was Victor Sloan, CEO of a rival company. Older, sharper, infamous in the industry for two things: acquiring talent and destroying egos. And the moment our eyes met, he raised his glass toward me, like a silent toast. I'll never forget that grin. It wasn't mocking. It was knowing. Like he had just seen the opening of a chess match, and I was about to make the next move. I didn't leave the gala that night. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I simply straightened my jacket, finished my drink, and walked right up to Victor Sloan. "Mr. Sloan, I believe we should talk." He smiled wider. "I was hoping you'd say that." That conversation changed everything. We left the party before dessert was served. We sat in the back of his Rolls Royce while the driver circled the block, and I told him everything: how I had built the project from the ground up, how I led the team, how I secured the contract that would triple the company's revenue. Victor listened, patiently, quietly, and then he leaned forward. He said, "Tell me something. Did Philip steal your idea?" I hesitated. The answer was complicated, but then I remembered. 3 months ago, I had pitched a secondary version of the software, an internal tool that could eventually outpace every product on the market. Philip dismissed it in public, but privately, I saw him digging through my documents, copying my work. And now I knew why he fired me. He wasn't scared of my failure. He was scared of my success. He was scared I would outshine him. Victor's jaw tightened. He said, "I've dealt with snakes like him before. Let me make you a proposal." He leaned in. "I'll fund your new startup. I'll give you complete freedom. Build the tool he rejected. Do it better. And do it under my umbrella." I stared at him, unsure whether to laugh or cry. In one night, I'd gone from being humiliated in front of the elite to being handed a lifeline by the very man Philip feared. Revenge wasn't even on my mind yet, but it would be. We got to work the next day. Victor gave me access to a ghost office, hidden from the public, untraceable to any connection I had with Philip's company. I hired a lean team, only people I trusted. We worked in silence, in shadows, perfecting the tool that Philip tried to steal. But I added something he could never replicate: Heart, passion, innovation. We launched quietly 6 months later. And then, boom, it exploded. Within a week, tech blogs were buzzing. Investors came knocking, users poured in. Everyone wanted to know who was behind this new platform, who had created the tool that made Philips software obsolete overnight. And then the press found out. They found me. And they found him. I'll never forget the headline. Fired by text. Now he's leading the startup that's killing his former boss's company. Philip didn't react publicly, but I heard through the grapevine. His investors were pulling out. His board was panicking. Clients were migrating, slowly at first, then all at once. The man who fired me like I was disposable was now losing millions. And then I got the call. A gala invitation. From the same organization, same venue. 1 year later. This time, I didn't wear the tight tux. I wore a custom-tailored midnight suit. Clean, sharp, and unapologetically expensive. And this time, I didn't walk alone. Victor Sloan walked beside me. The music was the same, the champagne still cold, but the whispers, different. People didn't ignore me now. They stared, they pointed, they smiled. And then I saw him, Philip, across the room, standing by the bar, just like I had a year ago. Except now, his face was pale, his posture unsure. And when our eyes met, he flinched. I walked toward him, slowly, calmly. Victor didn't follow. He knew this part was mine. When I reached him, I smiled. Philip, I just wanted to thank you. He tried to respond, but the words caught in his throat. I didn't wait. I simply turned, raised my glass, and walked away. That was the revenge. No shouting, no lawsuit, no confrontation. Just success. Loud, undeniable, and public. I didn't need to ruin his life. I just needed to build mine better. And in doing so, I did more than just win. I took back my name, my worth, my future. He fired me by text at a gala, but his rival watched it all unfold. And revenge? It was sweeter than I ever imagined.